Sara lived in a small village. It was a place where everyone knew each other, and the sense of community was strong. The village was her entire universe, a place filled with familiar faces and comforting routines. It was nestled between rolling hills, surrounded by lush greenery and vibrant fields. The landscape was picturesque, almost like a scene from a painting, with the hills providing a natural barrier that made the village feel like a hidden gem. The air was fresh, and the sky was a big, beautiful blue. Sara loved her village. The clear skies and clean air were a constant reminder of the simple, unspoiled beauty of her home. Every morning, she would wake up to the sound of birds chirping and the sight of the sun rising over the hills. Her home was a simple hut with mud walls and a straw roof. It was modest, but it was sturdy and provided shelter from the elements. The hut was a symbol of her family's resilience and resourcefulness. It was small, but it was full of love. Inside, the hut was cozy and warm, filled with the laughter and chatter of her family. The walls were adorned with handmade decorations, and the air was always filled with the aroma of home-cooked meals. Sara's family was poor, but they loved each other very much. They didn't have much in terms of material wealth, but they were rich in love and support. Her parents worked hard to provide for the family, and they always made sure that Sara felt cherished and valued. Life in the village was simple. There were no modern conveniences, but the villagers made do with what they had. They lived off the land, growing their own food and raising animals. The simplicity of their lifestyle brought them closer to nature and to each other. They worked in the fields during the day and told stories in the evening. The days were long and filled with hard work, but the evenings were a time for relaxation and bonding. The villagers would gather around a fire, sharing tales and laughter under the starry sky. Sara loved her grandmother's stories about magical creatures and faraway lands. These stories ignited her imagination and filled her with a sense of wonder. Her grandmother's voice was soothing, and her tales were a window into a world beyond the village. The village was Sara's whole world. It was a place where she felt safe and loved, surrounded by people who cared for her. The village was more than just a place. It was a community, a family, and a way of life. It was all she knew. Every corner of the village held a memory, every path a story. Sara had explored every inch of it, from the fields to the hills, and it was all deeply ingrained in her heart. But Sara dreamed of something more. She often found herself gazing at the horizon, wondering what lay beyond the hills. Her heart was filled with a longing for adventure and new experiences. She wanted something beyond what she knew. The village was her home, but she yearned to see the world, to explore new places and meet new people. Sara's dreams were as vast as the sky above her village, and she knew that one day she would find a way to make them come true. One day, things changed. It was a day like any other, with the sun shining brightly over the village and the children playing joyfully in the dusty streets. But for Sara, it was the beginning of something new. Some kids walked past Sara's hut. They were not just any kids, they were different. They had an air of excitement and purpose that Sara had never seen before. They were laughing and singing, their voices filled with joy and anticipation. It was as if they were heading towards something wonderful, something magical. They wore nice uniforms and carried books. The uniforms were crisp and clean, and the books looked new and full of promise. They were going to school, they said. School, a place Sara had only heard about in passing conversations, a place that seemed almost mythical to her. Sara had heard about school. It was a place of learning, a place of magic, a place where children went to unlock the mysteries of the world. She had never seen it. The school was a distant dream, a place she could only imagine in her mind. Sara felt a longing in her heart that she couldn't explain. It was a deep yearning, a desire to be part of something bigger than herself. She wanted to go to school. She wanted to be one of those children, walking with purpose and excitement. She wanted to wear a uniform and carry books. She imagined herself in the crisp uniform, holding books filled with knowledge and stories. She wanted to learn and explore, to discover new things and understand the world beyond her village. That night, Sara couldn't sleep. Her mind was filled with thoughts of the children and the school. She kept thinking about the children, Their laughter, their songs, their uniforms, and their books. It was all she could think about. She looked up at the stars. The vast twinkling sky seemed to hold all the answers, all the possibilities. They seemed to whisper about all the things that could be. The stars spoke of dreams and aspirations, of a world waiting to be explored. And in that moment, Sara knew she wanted to be a part of it. Sara told her parents about her dream. They listened carefully. They understood how she felt. But they looked worried. Life was hard for Sara's family. They worked very hard in the fields, but they didn't earn much money. Sending Sara to school seemed impossible. Her father said, "Education is important, but we can barely afford food." Sara felt sad. She understood her parents' problems, but she couldn't give up on her dream. She held on to it tightly. She knew she had to find a way. Sara's days were filled with chores. From the moment the sun peeked over the horizon, she was up and about, ready to take on the day. Her small hands were always busy, whether it was sweeping the floor or washing dishes. The rhythm of her life was set by the needs of her family and the demands of their rural home. She helped her mother around the house. Together, they cooked meals, cleaned the home, and took care of her younger siblings. Sara learned the importance of teamwork and responsibility at a very young age. Her mother was her first teacher, showing her the ropes of managing a household with patience and love. She got water from the well. This was no small task, as the well was a good distance away from their home. Carrying the heavy pot of water back required strength and endurance, qualities that Sara developed over time. Each trip to the well was a testament to her growing resilience. She gathered wood from the forest. The forest was a place of both work and wonder for Sara. As she collected sticks and branches, she would often find herself daydreaming about the stories her grandmother told her about the forest spirits and ancient trees. The task was tiring, but it also allowed her a moment of connection with nature. In the evenings, she helped her father in the fields. The golden light of the setting sun cast long shadows as they worked side by side. Her father taught her the value of hard work and the satisfaction that came from seeing the fruits of their labor. The fields were a place where Sara felt a deep bond with her father. She worked beside him, her small hands copying his movements. Each seed they planted was a promise of tomorrow, a hope for a better harvest. Sara's father was patient, guiding her with gentle words and steady hands. Through this, she learned the importance of perseverance and dedication. Even though her work was hard, Sara never complained. She understood that every task she completed was a step towards a better future for her family. Her smile was a constant companion, a reflection of her inner strength and determination. Sara's positive attitude was infectious, lifting the spirits of those around her. She carried her dream with her. Despite the challenges, Sara held on to her dreams tightly. She often found herself daydreaming about a different life, one where she could go to school and learn new things. Her dreams were her escape, a source of hope and inspiration. It made her happy and gave her strength. Her dreams were not just fantasies, they were the fuel that kept her going. They gave her the strength to face each day with courage and determination. Sara's dreams were a beacon of light in her life, guiding her through the toughest times. She knew that education was the key to a better life. Sara longed to hold a book in her hands, to read and write, and to learn about the world beyond her village. She believed that education was the path to a brighter future, not just for herself, but for her entire family. When the sun went down, Sara would go to a quiet place. The stillness of the evening provided her with a moment of peace and reflection. Under the vast sky, she felt a sense of freedom and possibility. It was her special time, a moment to dream and plan for the future. There, under the big sky, she would practice writing letters in the dirt. With a stick in hand, she traced the letters she had seen in old books and newspapers. Each letter was a step closer to her dream of education. Sara's determination to learn was unwavering, and she knew that one day her hard work would pay off. One day, while working in the fields, Sara saw a young boy reading a book. He seemed to be in another world. Sara walked up to him slowly. She had never seen anyone read before. The boy looked up, surprised. He saw a young girl with excited eyes. He showed her the book. He pointed at the words and read them slowly. Sara listened carefully. Something sparked inside her. From that day on, the boy, Rajan, became Sara's secret teacher. He met her every day after school. He taught her the alphabet. He shared his books. One afternoon, Rajan took Sara to his school. It was a small building, but to Sara it looked like a palace. It was at the edge of the village, shining in the afternoon sun. Happy children came out of the classrooms. They talked excitedly about what they learned. Sara watched them, amazed. She imagined herself sitting in a classroom surrounded by books, learning new things. She wanted to be there even more. She had experienced learning, and she wanted more. Sara worked harder every day. She practiced her letters. She read every book Rajan gave her. She learned quickly because she was so excited. She knew her parents couldn't pay for school, so she decided to earn money. She helped her neighbors with their chores. She washed clothes, collected firewood, and watched their younger children. They gave her a few coins. It wasn't much, but it was a start. Sara saved every coin. She kept it in a small pouch. It was her hope, her dream, becoming real. One evening, Sara's father met the village schoolmaster. He was a kind man, known for helping others. He had heard about Sara's desire to learn. He had seen how hard she worked. He was impressed. He decided to help. He offered Sara a scholarship. It would pay for her school. Sara's father was so grateful. He thanked the schoolmaster many times. That night, Sara's family celebrated. They were so happy. They knew this was a big chance for Sara. It was a chance for her to have a better life. Finally, the big day arrived. Sara woke up feeling excited. She put on her best clothes, a simple dress her mother had made. She walked to school with her father, holding her head high. The sun seemed to shine brighter, like it was celebrating with her. When she entered the schoolyard, Sara felt a thrill. She was finally there, at the place she had dreamed of, ready to learn. It was just the start, she knew, but it was a start full of hope, promise, and the belief that education could change her life.